Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be sharing with you how I made this draped skirt. Yeah, it's supposed to be a gown, but at the time of editing this video I was not done with the top part of the gown. So please subscribe to this channel, turn on your notification bell so that you get notified when I upload the upper part of this dress. So with me here I have my basic skirt pattern, and this is the front and the other one here is the back. So it's just a basic skirt pattern with my regular allowance of 1 inch. So I'm just going to extend the line I have here. So I'll be extending this line on the front and on the back bodies. So I'm trying to extend my hip line and my waist and my full length. So I'm also labeling the back, the front of the back, if that makes sense. So we'll be needing this very soon. So keep watching so you get to understand every detail. Like every part of this video is very important. So you really need to follow up so that you don't miss out. And now the next thing I'm doing here is to locate my nipple to nipple, also from the center point, which is also referred to as the dart point, because if you look at that dress you see that the slit of the dress is located at the nipple to nipple area. So just place your bust span measurement divided by 2 and then rule a line. Once that is done, I'm going to label the left part of this dress because my slit is going to be on the left side. If you want yours to be on the right side, you can do that. And I came down from my hip by about 4 inches for my slits, 4.5 inches. So this depends on how high or how low you want your slit to be. If you want your slit lower, you can make it lower. If you want it higher, you can make it higher. And now I'm just going to mark how I want the slit to be on that side. If you look closely, you see that the slit on the left side is not as wide as the one on the right hand side. The slit opening, I mean. So I would just connect that to that point, and then for the right hand side, I will make sure it is wider than what I have on the left hand side. And take note of the fact that the slit area crosses the center of the dress. So this means that I'll connect it to at least 1 inch after the center part of the dress. So moving on, I'm going to divide the back bodies into 2. If you would be making only a skirt, it's advisable that you add your zip allowance so that you can add a zip to the back of this dress. But since I'm making a gown, I am not adding any zip to the back. Yeah, because the front of this dress, the upper part is going to have a button area. So after dividing my back bodies into 2, I'm just going to place the front part on it the way it would look when you're done sewing, and then label the left hand side. Then I'll also label the right hand side of the back. So if you find this confusing, you can just replay or rewind it so that you get to understand. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to place these patterns left to left and close the seam area. If you look at that dress closely, you see that there is no slit on it. So by closing this seam area, this means I'm eliminating the need for any joining at the sides. So please, when you're joining this, make sure that the hip line aligns like this and every other part aligns, the full length and the waist area. Please, if it does not align, just know that your drafting is wrong. So once that is done, to close the hip area, I'm just going to make a slash on that point so that I can cover the hip point like this. So I'll place the hip, that part of the paper, on the other side and close it with my tape. So guys, just do that so that you can close the hip area, and then I'll come over to the to the right hand side and repeat the same process. I'll slash open the hip area and close up the pattern on that side. So once that is done, you should have a pattern that looks exactly like this. And moving on, I'm going to create my pattern for the pleats. So I'll be looking at the picture I'm working with, and I'll be creating my lines accordingly. So if you look at the picture very closely, you would notice that all the pleats are gathered at the top area. Like they're all the pleats are gathered towards the waist area. So all I need to do is to create my lines, how my pleats would be on the skirt, on the lower part of the dress. So once that is done, I would make sure that it is the same, it looks the same on the right hand side. So what I'm doing here is just trying to create a pattern for the way it's going to look on my skirt. So looking at that picture, you would observe that the pleats do not get to the slit area. The pleats stop somewhere at the top part of the slit. So I would make sure my lines do not get to the slit area, just as it looks at like on the picture. So I'll add some more lines on this pattern like this and stop somewhere around 4 inches before the slit so that it looks exactly like the picture. So once that is done, I'm going to cut out my slit so that I can finally detach the left piece from the right piece. So I'm cutting this out like this to the top part, and then I'll also repeat on the right hand side. I'll go ahead and extend all the lines I've made to reach the sides of the skirt pattern. And once I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and cut out all these lines. So you really need to watch closely and understand everything I'm doing here. So I'll just use my marker to make sure my slit area is very clear, because you need it when you are cutting out the fabric. So I'll cut out those lines I've made like this. I'll be cutting this to, you can make it reach the side, the end of the paper, but just make sure you don't cut the paper open. So now at this point, when you get to the opening at your hip area, you have to close up this hip point so that you can slash it open. So I'm going to close this now with my tape so that I can slash that area open. I hope everything I'm doing makes sense. If it doesn't, please make sure you rewatch this video so that you would understand everything I'm doing. It is very easy to do this, very, very easy. If you just follow all the steps, you would find it easy. So before I cut that side, I had to close up the hip area. Now I'll extend the lines also on the left hand side and repeat the same process. So I'll go ahead now and cut out this side just the same way I did for the right hand side. And when I get to the hip area, I would have to close up the hip area so that everything comes out as one. So just like I did at the other part, I'll bend that side and close it up. So while I was cutting my pattern, I realized that I cut out my paper and this is wrong. So I have to glue it back. Every part of this paper is very important. If you miss any part, your dress would be, you would just encounter problems. So now to cut on my fabric, I'll be using this green fabric because I really wanted my dress to look exactly like the thumbnail. And now I'm just going to place it on my fabric. Please take note of the fact that you'll be placing this pattern on the right side of your fabric. Yes, so don't mix it up by turning it to the wrong side. Place your fabric on the right side and make sure you add some allowance on this side so that you can join the skirt. So you're going to give it some gap. You can give it 3 inches, you can give it 2 inches, 2.5, but in my own case, I spaced it by only 2 inches for the pleats. So if you look at this, my fabric, you see that I gave it some irregular kind of shape. I did that purposely because I wanted to know where my pleats are, where the extra allowances is located at. And for the slit, I gave it a notch. It's very important to do that so that you can match up 2 sides of the skirt. So by the time you are done pleating your skirt, you should have something that looks like this. So with the help of that shape I gave, it will be easy for me. So the main idea is that by the time you are done pleating, your skirt should come back to the normal length and match up with where the slit starts from. So I'll be pinning all this down and I'll pin all that down, and then I'll do the same for the other side. And this is what I have, guys. At this point, I'm already like 95% done with the lower part of the gown. And this is what it looks like. So please make sure when you're pleating, your pleats are facing the waist area. Yeah, so that it will fall beautifully and nicely. So I'll go over to my machine now and keep this in place and remove all the pins. Once I remove all the pins, I would join the 2 pieces together. So I'll just place these on the other side like this. I'm going to cut out the excess part of the fabric and go ahead to join the 2 sides together. So after joining, this is what it looks like, guys. And make sure you close up the remaining area, which is at the back. This is the only joining on the skirt at the back area, the center back. So I just had to hem the bottom part like this to the end. And this brings us to the end of this video. Please make sure you subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you get notified when I upload the other part of this video. Thank you and bye.